Whenever we meet with a new couple, we walk the property with them and discuss their needs and what they like about what's there now, what they don't like, and any views that we want to hide. This particular customer was very easy to work with. We have a meeting where we gather all the information from the client that will make the design. Then we go back and we recreate that space in a CAD type program. From there, we use design principles like a landscape architect would use and a little bit of a creative process we've come up with. We'll bring out themes and we wrap all that into one amazing design that the customer is very comfortable with. When it came to picking the plants, Nick and I work very closely together, so he knows how to draw out the theme, where the base plantings go, focal points, where things go to soften corners. I allowed him to start off putting things where he thought they would go, and then we worked together to kind of rein that in a little bit. We presented the client with the link to the web page that had the design images on it. They absolutely loved it. They wanted to go with the project as it was. That's because we did a very thorough job of drawing out all that information early on. I showed the customer some photos of a project that we'd recently done and also sort of the image that we worked off of, which had sort of this Colorado theme. It just looked gorgeous. I showed that to him. They agreed. They loved it. And that was how we came up with the theme for the front yard. We had our principles that we follow and we put those together. You have an amazing space where you're always encountering the theme. So in this project, there were 2 Emperor 1 Japanese maples, which are going to be very purplish in the summer here in Tennessee. And then we put 1 Tamukiyama Japanese maple, which is sort of like a weeping waterfall looking type Japanese maple. They typically get at the maximum maybe 7 feet tall and about 8 feet wide. They just, and each new branch and chunk that grows out just looks like it's weeping and flowing. They're gorgeous. And then for the backyard, we took a different approach of, since it's a smaller space and it's more confined, there was a lot more limitations. Once you apply design principles of how you work corners and open spaces and curves, you just apply this right appropriate sized plants that meet the theme. The theme of the backyard was Italy because the customers are Italian and they love that theme. We used slender silhouette sweet gums because they're going to have a really neat leaf that's glossy. The fall color is amazing with reds and yellows and oranges. The columnar shape just adds to the whole theme. And we used some scrubby, low-growing roses. And we did add a little bit of southern flair with some teddy bear magnolias that we put back there that are always going to be blooming in the summer and have that beautiful sweet fragrance, but they're not going to get very big. And we also did hydrangeas, so they're going to have those gorgeous blooms along with the deep, dark leaves of the magnolias and the white blooms of the hydrangeas, the pink of the roses also. It's going to be a showstopper. We got our materials, began work, and communicated with the customer. We always get approvals before putting any plants in the ground. We went to our sponsor, the Rock Place in Smyrna, and we picked out several boulders, and I texted pictures to the customer telling them the locations and what we had in mind for those boulders. They were delivered on a truck, and the gentleman with the truck has a machine that can move them around. So we were doing the project, everything was humming right along, and then the client started talking about wanting a walkway and do some landscaping around it. Well, that evolved a little. So now they have a grill pad, but they also wanted a walkway from the parking area to the backyard through the back gate, and that's what we gave them. A beautiful, welcoming, curvy walkway that goes from the parking area to the backyard. And so when they're in the backyard and they come to the front, they don't have to walk through the grass or the dirt, and they just walk on a beautiful, consistent walkway that goes with their backyard. They have pavers in the backyard already, and this paver goes with that paver very well. Here's what we learned today. We talked about our design process. We talked about how in one project we used 2 different themes from the front yard to the backyard. We talked about how a client can add on to the project. And we also talked about the specifics of certain plants like the Japanese maples and the slender silhouette sweet gums. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. You gotta share it because how's anybody else gonna see it if you don't share it? Call us for your project. Beep.